Thank you guys for tuning in. You are listening to the Protein Bros podcast. I am your host, Jeff Wasserman. As always, I'm joined by my co-host,
Kyle Combs. What's up, guys?
We appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Now, if this is your first time, the Protein Bros podcast is something that we started to give people a real inside look at the most influential guests in the entire community. We have, in our entire fitness community, I should say. Now, many have tried to make their passion for fitness, somehow into a living and turn that into a career. But few can actually say that they turned it into a full-time career with longevity. Now, Kyle and I started our, as hourly employees. If you guys didn't know this, we were working the counter at the very first supplement superstores back over 10 years ago and have since moved to Kansas City to open up what is now 6 of our very own locations. And now we have to make sure that we make that clear that we would not be able to have done any of this without the support of some amazing like-minded individuals, and those people that we should not go unnamed. We couldn't have done any of that without their support. One of the first people that jumped out to us was North Kansas City's own Aaron Becker. We have him here today. What is up, man?
What's going on?
What's going on, buddy?
Aaron, you are Kansas City's most ripped firefighter. You're
a trainer. Get shit for that title.
Does anyone listen to this podcast?
He's a trainer. He's the owner of his very own brick and mortar gym, Aaronfit, a WBFF pro, a philanthropist, a college football Hall of Famer, and on top of that, his most important job being a phenomenal dad to 2 lovely children. Please welcome one of the best ambassadors in all the fitness community in Kansas City, Aaron Becker, everybody. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
So, Kyle, I know you had some questions because Kyle is a dad, guys. If you didn't know, Kyle's got 2 kids. And
you got 2 kids too, right?
I do.
Nice, man. How old are your kids?
My daughter just turned 16 yesterday, Sydney. And,
oh, no.
I have a 12-year-old boy, William.
Is she driving yet?
Immediately.
Literally, she turned 16 yesterday?
Got her license at 8 a.m., came and saw me at the gym, said hi, went home, dropped off her mom, and went to Starbucks.
Oh, I was going to say, she had to go to like a fast food drive-thru of some sort.
Free Starbucks on your birthday, it's a thing. I didn't know that.
Well, so, now we know.
The thought of my daughter driving, like she's such a wild animal, is so scary to me because she just literally she has no filter, no understanding of like, this could hurt me. It's a scary thought.
I have to give her a little bit of credit. She has more confidence than any 16-year-old girl I know. It was like, yeah, I got this.
I deep dived and like creeped your Instagram, and I saw her whipping a nay-nay in like 7 years ago. So
yeah, I'm
like, she was really feeling it.
We went to the plaza to eat for her birthday last night. She wanted to drive 2 of her friends. I was not for it, but she was confident. Yeah, I got this. Just drove down there by herself during rush hour.
What is your biggest fear for her driving? Most notably, like, what do you think she's going to do knowing her when she's driving?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily her, but I hate phones and other distractions that come with cars now.
Dude,
my dad was freaked out about me driving because of the radio. He was like, you're going to be like head down, like trying to put the right song on. And I'm like, you're 100% correct. That's going to happen.
Well, exactly. And at the same time, I'm like, how did my parents, cell phones weren't a thing when I turned 16. I don't even know if there were bag phones when I turned 16, in cars. They just let us go without a means of getting a hold of.
No. There was like, that is kind of funny to think about because, when I think back to before there were cell phones, I remember I used to walk after school and I'd walk to a payphone to call my mom from a payphone. And it's like the thought of that now, kids are probably like, that is so weird to think
crazy.
about.
Yeah. Never would I let her go anywhere without her cell phone,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My parents had 5 boys and they were just like, all right, be back at this time, I guess.
That was something I was going to bring up to you, dude. You said your parents had 5 boys. You are one of 5 Becker brothers.
I am. I'm number 2.
You're second in line, but you look the youngest. You've been told this.
I've heard that, yes.
Must be nice.
Well, must be nice.
Aaron doesn't age. If anybody has like deep dived his Instagram like I have in the last 24 hours, and since 2014, he's the exact same guy.
Yeah.
Incredible shape. So, anyways, I saw a picture of your brothers. Are they all that big still?
They're all, we all played college football. We actually all played in the MIAA, which is familiar to this area.
Region, no doubt.
My older brother, Matt, myself, and my younger brother, Dan, who's a firefighter here in town, too. We all played at Northwest. My number 4 played at Missouri S&T, which was Rolla.
Rolla, yeah.
They were in the MIAA. And then
they were good.
My youngest brother, Dave, was a lineman at Washburn. I give them a little. They're not going to listen to this podcast. Maybe they will, but I'm going to give them some shit anyway. But they were all college athletes, all good college athletes. A linebacker, a tight end, a quarterback, and Dave has always been a lineman. He's always looked like a lineman, so I'll give him that pass. But when we were together, I'm like, I do get some shit because I've kept to myself, or I've gotten myself in pretty good shape. I just say, it wouldn't hurt to do a push-up every now and again, or something.
You guys don't have to be retired from fitness.
Yes, retired from everything. Like, I understand we're not going to go strap it on anymore, but like getting in the gym and doing some cardio, or trying to not.
Dude, well, when you were playing, so I saw a picture of you, and I actually had to like double take it because I was like, dude, that's not Aaron. And then I was like, dude, I was looking at your face. I was like, actually, it is Aaron.
Yeah.
How much did you weigh?
The heaviest I ever weighed in was 292 pounds.
You were a tank. Yeah. You were a straight.
You were like,
I was a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
You were like one, cheat meal buffet away from 300.
I'm sure there were some after some buffets I didn't weigh in the morning that I probably would have topped 300, but
big guys understand that mindset.
Right.
Yeah. Don't weigh yourself until you actually are okay with what it says.
Right.
Here's my question. So, right now you are a relatively, if you saw you now, I would say you probably played linebacker in college, or I'd say maybe defensive end because you're relatively tall. But I would have
for
never
those of
been
you that don't know, Aaron walks around like 6'3", 230, 240.
230, 235 has been my walk around weight for quite a while now.
And to be clear, that is what most NFL linebackers find themselves.
Yeah, that's just shit.
Aaron is ripped and gigantic.
No, I'm shrinking. I'm trying to shrink down a little bit. But yeah, when they ask, I was a decent college football player. When they ask what I played, I say defensive line, and they kind of give me
get some looks.
Like, well, it is what it is. It was 25 years ago or 20 years ago. So,
and he was he was a college football Hall of Famer, in case you guys didn't know. He was decent.
What the coolest thing to me is, so I played football in college as well. And to know that you won a national championship, like, man, that is the pinnacle. When you're playing football, that's what we used to go out, and that's what we talked about every single day. And to kind of reach that pinnacle is such a cool thing. And also, you were at the beginning of basically what's turned into a dynasty there, You
guys were you were the first national championship in that school's history for football?
Yes. Actually, my brother, Matt, he's 2 years older than I am. He graduated in 94, so his first college football season was 1994, and that was Coach Churchma, the guy who turned it all around. That was his first year. They were 0-11, and 4 year, that was 94 season and 98 season. I came in 96, and 98 we were 15-0.
That's crazy.
And it's really one of the greatest turnarounds in all college sports. It's Division II football, so it's not that big a deal, but I can't imagine. Division
II, I grew up in Wichita, and so I grew up a big fan of Pitt State.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a lot of guys, because I played JUCO football, I had a lot of guys that left Garden City, went and played at Pitt State. And at that time, Pitt State's number one rival is you guys. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. And also, like, kind of getting back to what I was going to ask you, so you walk around at about 230. My question is are you the type of guy that has to push food really hard? Your body doesn't want to be 292?
Oh,
or are you the
I could
opposite?
be 292. Give me a couple months. Give me a couple months and some food.
I'm the same way.
292. So I've eaten healthy for a long time. I just kind of know I don't measure anything anymore. I'm way past that. I'm never going to compete again or hop on stage, so I don't care about that. But I kind of just intuitively eat, is what they say.
Yeah.
And I can kind of just maintain where I want to be now. The last month or so, I've changed things even more because I was telling Jeff downstairs, I have some physical health issues that I'm dealing with from playing sports and weightlifting and firefighting and all those things. And that's changed my mindset a little bit. I'm trying to shrink down a little bit to
get
be
more functional, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
I've lost some mobility in some spots that it isn't good.
Yeah.
At 43 years old.
And these are aches and pains. These are shoulders, knees, elbows. This isn't
it's
internal,
not good for
right?
if you're trying to be a firefighter.
Nothing internal. It's I've ignored or pushed through a bunch of. I take a little bit of pride in working hard, not missing work, and ignored some nicks that I've had over the years, and they're catching up with me. So I'm changing things. I'd like to be about between 220 and 225 instead of between 230 and 235, and that's had to change my mindset of I'm probably not going to be as strong as I've been.
Shrinking into a quarterback,
right?
Versus the linebacker.
That's still a big quarterback,
right? I mean, things are changing. That's just part of my journey.
I got to I did the same thing. After I got done playing football, I got into powerlifting, and I really I neglected mobility work. I neglected a lot of stuff, and I got really beat up shoulders and knees and stuff. And that kind of led me to being like basically going through the same thing where it's like I have to lose weight because I am so uncomfortable getting up out of a chair or walking upstairs. And I'm not saying that you were at that point, but that's something that a lot of guys run into, especially guys that have competed at like a high level like you have, a WBFF pro, you've done, a national championship football player. It's like you've been a heavier guy. And when you do that for a significant amount of time, you don't think about it, but it does eventually catch up with you. It catches up with your joints in a big, big way.
Right. Oh, 100%. When I went to see, after I got my shoulder looked at, got some bad news there. I said, I'm going to go get all my nicks looked at, get my knees looked at. Doc came in and said, how old are you? And I was like, that's not going to go well.
Yeah. And, that sounded like a great question.
How old are
you? I said, I'm 43. And he said, man, you look great for 43, but your knees are 70. And that's when I said, all right, I'm just going to have to give up squats for a while, and squatting 500 or 600 pounds isn't going to be in my, it's just not something that I'm going to do anymore. Or same with bench pressing 400 or whatever pounds. I'm just not going to do that anymore. And I had to change. It's a tough hurdle to get over, but now it's, I want to feel good. I want to be healthy. I want to walk around feeling good all the time. So
for sure,
we meet a lot of those in the store, man. We have a lot of guys who play college sports or play sports at a high level. I don't know if you know Grant Wistrom.
Oh yeah,
DN for Nebraska.
I'm a huge Husker fan.
Super Bowl champion with the Rams, and then I think the Seahawks too. I think he might have been on that team. But yeah, Dan, he is the picture of like what a retired NFL player should look like. I mean, dude, he is the most in shape guy now. He was walking around 300 pounds, and now he's like 230, and played. He opened a CrossFit gym in Springfield, Missouri, and it's just crazy to see his functionality now is just wild. He can squat ass to grass, no problem, no aches, no pains. It's pretty cool. So I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're finding that.
So with your, do you attribute most of that to weightlifting or more of it to firefighting? Because I know that they're both hard on you. They both can be hard on you.
I mean, I think it's just a combination of everything. I touched that. Sorry.
You're good. I thought I did that earlier. I was like, oh, did I kick something?
I had
that's all good.
ACL, tore my ACL in college. I had a couple other scopes there.
Is that what happened to you your senior year?
My first senior year in '99, I was going to be a senior. I tore my ACL like the third practice of the year. Had reconstruction surgery. Had another scope in the spring. And then played.
They gave you a medical red shirt, is that correct?
Medical red shirt, correct. Which was my first red shirt. I didn't red shirt as a freshman, so I still was.
You had one in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. And then I played the 2000 season. After that season, I just decided I had some looks, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. Mm-hmm. My knee didn't feel good. I had it drained a bunch of times that year, and so that's kind of when I hung it up. Then I got in. I'll get into my first career whenever you want to talk about that. But then I got into getting into really good shape and losing my lineman weight. Started lifting, and firefighting is tough. I just tell people, we could be it could be 3:00 in the morning in a dead sleep, and 3 minutes later we're on a roof taking tomahawk chops, on a roof, and that's where I started noticing my shoulder pain the most. But I'm a prideful guy, and I take a lot of pride in the work I do, and I just kind of ignored some stuff for a while.
Yeah, man, this is going to be like, the next hour is going to be just like a celebration of how hard you worked. And so you got to cut this humility. We all know you're like the most humble guy we know. So be proud of what you've done, man. You've done incredible things.
I've not done that much.
The cool thing about, being a firefighter, I feel like it's a really similar, and it seems from the outside looking in, that coming from like somebody who played team sports and team sports was important to him, it seems like a natural fit to go right into something like firefighting, purely because it's, like I said, my buddy Connor is a firefighter, and knowing him and looking looking at,
the camaraderie, the culture
that goes on there, it seems like it's a natural fit for people. Do you have a lot of people that are in your firehouse that are also had played sports in the past?
There's quite a few on the job. I can't say, oh yeah, I guess there are some at the station I'm at right now. I got moved recently, but there's quite a few former athletes for sure. And there definitely is. My first career I was a teacher. I taught.
Oh, no kidding! I thought you were talking about your first career was a firefighter. No, I didn't even know that.
I was an elementary education major. Always wanted to teach kindergarten growing up. That's all I ever wanted to do. And I graduated and I got a job in Liberty. I taught first grade for 2 years.
That's cool.
And it was really cool. I mean, super rewarding. I love kids.
Yeah.
But there was something missing in that career for me that I couldn't see it being a long-term thing, and it is probably being a former athlete and being on a team and having the guy, I love the ladies I worked with. They were all great, amazing teachers up there, but I was one of 2 or 3 guys in the whole school, and pretty soon I'm watching The Bachelor, and we're talking about pregnancy, and I'm just like, I'm 23 or 24 years old.
Yeah, where's the camaraderie? Where's the competitiveness?
Something's missing here, and I knew a couple guys that had gotten on the job, gotten on the firefighter job, a couple years before, and so I just took the test and did well and was offered a job kind of in the summertime in between school years, which was perfect, and I just made the career move there.
Has it become increasingly difficult to become a firefighter in Kansas City since you've been since you first started the profession? Because I feel like I know people that are just like waiting and waiting and waiting.
How many of the city council and the mayor's office do you think are going to listen to this podcast?
Probably none.
It used to be
0
or fire management. It used to be tough to get on. When I took the test, we went down to Hale Arena and there were tables set up, and it was a written test, pencil and paper, and you sat there with the 2,000 or 3,000 other candidates that wanted to take the test. It was super competitive, and I talked to guys that waited forever to get on, years to get on. They even had family on the job and were legacies or whatever, and it was tough to get on. Now it's not as tough. We had taken over the ambulance service 10 years ago, and it's just completely changed the dynamic of the job and who wants to work for Kansas City, Missouri, because we absolutely get murdered on the EMS side. And we're wearing people out.
The amount of calls you guys get is just unheard of.
Especially the ambulance calls. Yes, you're talking 25, 30 calls a day, which might not sound like a lot, but by the time you run the call, package the patient, transport them to the ambulance, or transport them to the hospital, do the paperwork, come back to the station, get called out right again, and 24 hours of nonstop stuff, and it's just wearing guys out.
That's 24 hours of straight work, huh?
Right, yeah.
No break.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
The job has changed because not as many people want to do that. Yeah. And that's where the low guys are going to have to start on the ambulances and run those calls. Yeah.
Right. So did you, I saw that you switched firehouses recently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What made you want to switch, or what brought you to that? And then what's the new one like?
Again, I did not want to switch. They bumped me up or designated me a driver. I loved the firehouse I was at. I worked at 18s for 8 years. I would have finished my career as a firefighter there. I'd never really the promotional test never really, it's all about who you work with on the job. It's 24 hours a day. So you got
to really enjoy these individuals, huh?
I think so. Yes. And I had a great crew, great firefighting crew. Everyone knew what they were doing. It was a fun group to be around, but I was the senior firefighter in the city. That was still a firefighter. Everyone else had moved up to driver, captain, or chief or whatever. So I was the next to get designated a driver, so I got put at Rescue 9, which is off Manual Cleaver between Benton and Prospect, if you're familiar with.
You're getting some calls.
The inner city, yeah, and it's right south of where I worked before. I didn't accept the designation to the rescue position, it's a very long story, but it's a 3-year commitment. They don't make you commit for 3 years. So just recently, now I'm going to be kind of up by my gym, which is
exciting,
very exciting for me. I'm going from one of the busiest truck in the city to one of the slower trucks in the city, which is going to be an adjustment, just not to be as busy. But it also means maybe a little bit more sleep at night, and I could always use an hour extra of that. For sure.
No doubt, because you're also, a dad to 2 kids, and you're also running a very successful gym. So let's get into that a little bit, man. I never knew you. I first heard of you through your clients coming into the stores up in the North Kansas City area. and just talking about your passion, you know, and, you know, lo and behold, I come to meet you and you've been doing this for so long. So, Aaronfit was, you know, everybody that knows Aaronfit was like, oh, it's, you know, sounds like an overnight success. And it's like, that was, you know, an overnight success over 10 years in the making. Right. So tell me how you found personal training as far as a job. And then, you know, how did we turn it into a career?
And the most original gym name ever. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, how many people say I want to know how many people call it Aaronfit.
Like I've never heard it before.
Yeah. Right. Well, my name's Jeff.
Dude,
and so every time that someone says, my name is Jeff, I'm like, you know,
at least you don't have to worry about like, you know, people sending you those videos of Kyle punching through drywall and drinking Monsters.
Yeah, but like you do those things.
That's true.
I was going to say, you look like you do this.
That's true. I was driving a lifted truck when that came out.
It was bad.
I was like, oh, God. They
just shotgunning Monsters.
Here. Yeah.
Man. So really it just kind of happened. You know, like I said, I was not an exercise science major. I didn't take any of those courses. I literally just liked lifting weights and working out, and I kind of got.
And to be clear, like that's most people, right?
Right?
Like most people that get in the fitness industry, it's not because they thought this was going to be my career. They just fell in love with the, you know, the process of going to the gym, seeing the results, and found a passion for how that made them feel.
Right.
You know.
Yes. And at the time, I was already a firefighter, and I was building decks and finishing basements, and had a construction company with my brother Dan. Mm-hmm. And I just got tired of working out at 4 o'clock in the morning and going and working an 8 or 10 hour day in the heat. And so I just took it. I worked out at a gym in Lee Summit at the time, and I took a test and started training there. And
what year was this?
12 or 13, I think.
Holy heck. Can we talk about what was the name of the gym at the time?
It was Shred.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're still going.
They're
Good
still
for them.
going. Yep. I moved. There was a transition there where he wanted to grow a little bit. I liked kind of what we had, and so I thought it was a good time for me to step away from there. And I went over to a smaller gym you wouldn't even know. It's called Bar Gym in Leawood. I knew somebody over there and asked if they had a spot. And
Were you still living in North Kansas City?
Oh yeah,
making that commute.
I ended up at Shred because the owner was a Bearcat. I'm a Bearcat. I just support Bearcats.
Heck yeah.
So my dentist is a Bearcat. My financial guy is a Bearcat. We're just, you know, I support my kind.
Awesome. Sorry to hear that. Awesome. I'm just glad there's not any supplement stores that are owned by Bearcats right now.
Right.
Sorry.
Hey, we're Missouri State Bears.
That's
we're
right.
Bears. We got half of it.
So that's how I kind of ended up there. And I just had sure there were closer gyms or whatever, but I just felt comfortable going out there, and I had a good clientele base over there or in the Southland, and this wasn't too much further, and they all kind of followed me over to Bar Gym, and I trained there for a couple of years, and really what happened, I ended up north. The commute was just killing me, and I have 2 kids that are active and busy, and I felt like I was grinding my teeth on the way home every day through that traffic. So the opportunity came. Somebody I know owned the building that I'm in now and said it's kind of this cool little spot in the back of it, might be a cool gym, and I went and checked it out. And
so quite literally, you went from this Leawood training position at Bar Gym to opening your own facility?
Yeah.
Wow, man. I didn't know that until just now. So
was the first taste of like entrepreneurship that you got the construction company with your brother?
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm not a risk taker at all. So I think I was just, I can do this. You know, I knew a ton of people up north, and a lot of people had asked if I was going to ever come train up north. It was too far of a commute down south to do it. And I just kind of jumped both feet in. I'd been grinding 2 jobs for a long time and working for, you know, Dan started the business. I just was his right-hand man mostly on the construction side. So I just kind of jumped both feet.
So with Aaronfit, you know, it's always a risk. You know what I mean? I know you say you're not a risk taker, but it sounded like, you know, maybe your landlord gave you an offer you couldn't refuse, or was it more that you had enough clients in your pocket that you knew that you could cash flow from day one, or what was it really the one that takes a non-risk taker and makes them take a risk? You know what I mean?
That definitely wasn't the case. I built it out myself. You've been to my gym. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. It's not.
We fit a lot of people in that gym.
We do fit a lot of people in that gym, but
not during COVID.
It's
certainly
it's
not.
You know, it's a glorified garage. But I acquired some equipment in an auction, and I just held on to it for about a year. If I ever wanted to do something, then then I'd do it. And it was time, so I did it. But I built it out. I literally contacted, or I told my brother, I'm like, hey man, I might have to come build a deck for you or something until I get this thing up and running. But you know a lot of people and you talk to a lot of people, and I just held a lot of free classes, and I just wanted people to come in, check it out, see what I had to offer. And pretty soon, you know, I trained enough where I didn't have to do anything else. And then I was full.
Yeah, man.
That's
For
awesome.
people that aren't familiar with Aaron, it takes really one conversation with him for you to truly understand how much he cares about every individual that he interacts with. And, you know, I try to explain this to a lot of people that come to us for advice on how to make it in the fitness industry. And it's just like, hey man, don't be in a hurry. Just 100% care about the people that you have coming to you right now. And they're simply going to be your walking billboard for you. They're going to talk to their friends. They're going to send you more business. And I feel like, referral has been, you know, by far our biggest, you know, thing that we've had for us as far as for us to grow as a company. And, you know, would you touch on if that's something that you guys have seen the most of, or is it something that I'm missing?
Oh no, you hit it on the head really. And I've said this to you both a lot, is I appreciate the people that you have working for you. You know, that's what brings people in, and people still talk about, you know, supplement superstore isn't new. I kind of think when I went to the Overland Park one the first time, was that the original?
Yeah, that was the first location.
I remember the first time walking in there, I'm like, what is this place? And why is this guy so nice? And what the hell's going on here?
Something
You
up.
know?
Why is this guy like this?
I literally thought, I think I walked out smiling like that was the most pleasant experience I've ever had in my life. That's how I met you too. I was in Supplement Superstore. I just opened. I was having a firefighter benefit workout for a couple guys that died that I was friends with and coworkers with. And they said, why don't we come? And I was like, what are you going to do? You know, you come work out. And they're like, no, we'll set up a table and we'll
offer recovery for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to people as they come in. And then that was the first time I was like, oh, there's Jeff. I've seen him on Instagram. He owns this place. And what the hell is he doing here? You know? And that's the first time I think we met.
Yeah, man. When it comes to the community, we all care. You know what I mean? And that's what this whole podcast is about.
The competitive advantage you can have by just having like actual good intention is crazy.
It is. Know? And that's where I was going. Like, I don't know.
People think business is a game, man. They come to you and they're like, you know,
yeah, but what's your angle?
Yeah, but how do you make money with that? And you're like, actually deliver on what you said you would. Just do what you say you're going to do.
I mean, I'd be the first to tell you, like, I'm not the world's greatest trainer. I don't have all the schooling and all of that, but I think I'm a good people person, and I genuinely want to say it in all my consultations. Like, I don't want you to come here spending your money. I don't care. I don't feel good about you spending money in my gym and not getting what you came here out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I say, number one. So if you're not getting what you want out of it, I don't feel good about that. You know, I don't love taking your money. I don't go home at night counting my money. I go home at night worrying about, are you here and getting what you want out of being here? So
right. Are you actually getting the results you came looking for?
Right.
You know, and it's not hard to figure that out when it comes to just going to one Aaronfit class. The culture is so damn strong, man. It's unbelievable. And I think that people that care about stuff like that, and I'd like to think that Kyle and I really care about culture and really care about delivering, you know, a positive impact on the community. When you see the impact that, you know, I went to that first benefit, you know, and was it John Mesh? Was his name John?
John Mesh and Larry Leggio.
Larry Leggio, yeah. And, you know, that was, you know, just an incredible community experience where we had nothing to do with it. And that part, honestly, like, was really, really, really humbling for me, because we felt like we're the only ones that really try really hard to put these on these community events. And man, people came out of the woodwork. I saw the amount of donations that came through, businesses jumping in to help. And it was just an incredible experience. And I was just so fortunate to just be there and actually get to be a part of it. And I know we talked later, like, hey man, we're gonna have to do more of these. And then COVID happened.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
How was COVID with being a firefighter? Like, and specifically not only being a firefighter, but also trying to run a business that you have to be in contact with people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit different on the fire side, just because we can't shut down. We're not shutting down, you know. There were a lot of changes, obviously, you know, all the masks.
Did the calls go up or did the calls go down?
Actually, the calls went down initially. Everybody, I think, was scared out of their minds, stayed in, nothing was going on. So the calls went down. Now, there might have been some spikes here and there, but definitely since things have let up, it's been
back to normal.
Okay, yeah, it's back to normal.
Are we actually increasing these numbers now? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, made us a little bit more careful. Obviously, we had tons of exposures and quite a few. I got coronavirus. I had it. There were several firefighters that did. You just come in contact with that many people.
I fell victim to the coronavirus as well. How about you, Kyle?
My wife had it, and I never officially got it. I got it tested twice when she had it, and I'm like, I should have it. What's going on here? So I might have had it earlier and just didn't know I had it. I also could have been asymptomatic at some point. I don't know. I think, like, looking back on the whole situation now, I feel like, it was one of those things where it's like, a lot of people probably had it, didn't know they had it, and it was really hard to, actually.
I made out with a girl that honestly said that she had it. The next day she tested positive because, her work made her take one or something along those lines. And I was just like, then I must have it, clearly, right? Yeah. So I go and get tested, and sure enough, I was negative.
He was mind blown for that for like 2 days. He's like, dude, I'm pretty sure I have it. I'm
pretty sure I'm Will Smith and I Am Legend, and my DNA is what we all need to use.
I told him he went to Missouri State, and so like coronavirus is the least he has to worry about.
If you've partied at the bars in Springfield,
Missouri.
Missouri.
You've gone to Springfield, Missouri, and been to the Boogie, you're fine.
If you've been to the world famous Outback in Maryville, you're gonna
I have not, but I obviously need to go now. What's cool about the Outback?
Nothing.
Is there a lot of bars in Maryville, or is it pretty?
Maryville's not a big town. It's nothing like Springfield. So, there's plenty of places to drink.
Is it house parties? That's how Garden City was. It was just mainly house parties.
I think house parties are a bigger thing there now, from what I hear.
Yeah.
I was going to say, man, Springfield, Missouri, I love what you said, like, it's nothing as big as Springfield. And it's like, well, the college town aspect of it is a very small area because kids don't have cars, no one likes to move their parking spot.
Just the sheer size of Springfield, though,
I think
compared to
350,000 people.
Well, it's third biggest city in Missouri. We got to give it some credit. No, dude. So I found, dude. So we were before we started this podcast, there was like a question that I totally wanted to get into, and I couldn't think of what it was, and I just thought of it. So I'm excited. All right.
Okay.
So in case you guys didn't know, during the coronavirus, me and Kyle were really, 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 really bored, and we were thinking, just how the heck do we make how do we make an impact in the community? And so we came up with a fundraiser where we were trying to raise money for a lot of our gym friends that had to shut down and just overnight were not given a way where they could make any form of income. Unemployment took care of a lot of their trainers, took care of a lot of the employees, but it doesn't take.
The PPP loan was basically paying out payrolls for people, but if you're a gym, you don't have high payrolls. They weren't getting
these PPP loans because their overhead isn't as big. They just have the rent and the equipment that they have to pay for typically on a monthly basis, not 50 employees. And so gym owners were really just kind of got hung out to dry when it came to this. They were just kind of collateral damage in the whole situation. So we came up with a way to raise money. We would sell these T-shirts, or we wouldn't sell them, just a straight donation, right? So we donated these shirts. We raised $20,000. And the cool thing that I want to bring up here is we went to Aaron. We went to a handful of other gyms. We said simply, hey, do you need help? We started this fund. We got $20,000. We want to give it out. Do you need any money? And I would like to tell you that Aaron would not be proud of this, but I will tell you because I'm proud of him. But he said, you know what, man, I got another job. I'm fortunate enough to where I am a firefighter, and that job's not going away anytime soon. There's got to be gym owners that need it more than me, and so I don't need your guys' money. It's all good, And I just thought that was an incredible thing that I wanted to make sure everybody knew, is because the guy could have had, $1,000 and was just like, no, I don't really actually absolutely have to have that to keep my business going. And I thought that was incredible, man. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, there was some people that we talked to during that absolutely did need it. Like they were down to their basically very last dollar. So
there's somebody that was, I remember somebody's dog who was they were driving to K-State from Kansas City once a week to go to this very special vet because it was only this vet that knew how to deal with this dog problem. And it was just like one thing after another like that. So it definitely went to a worthy cause, but man, just appreciate who you are and handling that.
Speaking of that, you are very big in
philanthropy
and I see you doing, a lot of work with different charities. What got you into that, man?
I don't know. I just feel everyone has a gift, and you have to figure out what that is and then live it out in the service of others. So I think that's my gift. I think I just am good at helping people.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm not the best trainer in the world, but I feel like I can help some people in the training world or help them get into shape or lose some weight. And really anything else, you know, I just am not going to say no when I get a chance to help somebody out. So
what's like the cause that you really get behind the most? What's something that you're genuinely passionate about? Because I know you've done, you know, warm coats in the winter. I know you've done things, like I said, raising money for the, you know, for, you know, the firefighters that had passed away. You know, what is something else that, like, you know, maybe we wouldn't know about you, that's something you really get behind?
Oh, I'm pretty involved in Synergy Services, which is, it's a really cool place. The Resiliency Youth Center, I sit on a board there. It's a homeless kids shelter for teenage kids, and I do quite a bit of work with them. I just really, anything involving kids, I get behind. Other than that, I mean, if you need anything, and if I could help any way and you need something, then I just say, yeah, whatever you need to do, you know.
That's how it starts, man. You just start saying yes to people, and you get introduced to new things. And, you know, it's been cool. We've been introduced to so many different charities over the years, and just, gosh, man, it's so fun to meet people that are just passionate. I mean, I just get behind anybody who's passionate about what it is they're doing. And, you know, it could be the most, you know, niche, you know, issue that, you know, we would never think of because it doesn't affect us personally. And you just watch how it affects them, and how much they get behind it, and, you know, the level of passion they have. And you just can't help but, you know, find it contagious and want to join and want to help any way you can. A lot
of it is, there are tons of people out there willing to help and willing to do do something, but they don't know how to get involved, or they're willing to do whatever. And I really figured out that a couple of years ago at the first firefighter workout. That workout started because the 4-year anniversary at that time was coming up. We were fighting a fire just up the street here at Prospect and Independence Avenue, and a building collapsed on John and Larry. And that had a tremendous impact on my life, personal life, professional life, my marriage. And so it was coming up, and I started thinking about it. It was just the week before October 12th was the date, 2015. It was the week before that. I wanted to do something to donate to the John V. Mesh Memorial Scholarship Fund. I don't have a ton of money that I can just donate, so I said, all of this week's classes are going to be $10, but the $10 donation all my classes are always $10, but your $10 is going to go to
specifically the fund.
Specifically the fund. I'll just collect the money, and I'll just donate at the end. And so that day I was thinking about it. I said this on the Saturday morning class. And then I started thinking about that day, well, I think I could raise $1,000. And I said, if I had 100 people out here next Saturday working out, just put together a workout in the parking lot, you know, you saw the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody donated $10, that would be $1,000 that I could give them. And so I started promoting it. And then one of my clients,
7 days out.
Yeah. 7 days out. Yeah. So then I put it out there, and I had a client from when I trained south that moved to Denver, and she contacted me and said, I'd like to match the first 100 people. I'll give $1,000, you know, matching the first 100 people. So I was like, well, shit, now I got to make this. This has to be something. It's got to be
right.
Her $1,000 isn't going to go to some shitty workout. So then I started promoting it a little more, and started getting asking for some donations from some local companies that I knew, and you guys were coming, or I went in that week and said, I'm doing this thing on Saturday. I don't know what it's going to be, you know, and anyway, all my people showed up. All of their people showed up. We had 100 people working out. We raised at least
$5,000.
Yeah. Which was
so
way
awesome.
More than I expected. And
everybody showed up, man. The community was just there.
Yeah,
I mean, it was crazy. There was insurance agencies, there was grocery stores, there was a dentist.
Right.
It was wild.
Spent that week going around to places and asking for stuff, or seeing if they'd be willing to donate. It's for a good cause. And I think that night, or that incident, October 12th, 15, is stuck in kind of people's heads. It was when the Royals were making their World Series run, and we had 2 guys die. It was a big deal. Still is a big deal. But I mean, people remember that, and that's what I want, what we want people to remember that. So anyway, fast forward to the next year, then Corona hit. I didn't know if I was going to have it. Ultimately, it was my choice. I said, screw it, I'm having it. You know, come shut me down, whatever. It was kind of in that gray area of, are we shut down? Are we not shut down? And so I had it, and we raised $10,000 or $10,500. So
that's so awesome.
I just have, like I said, people, there are tons of people out there that want to help. Sometimes it's just organizing people to do something. The same with the clothes drive we have, or same with the toy drive we do, or any of the synergy services stuff I always bring to my gym, the Christmas tree and all this other stuff. And my people are willing. People that don't come to my gym see it and, hey, can we come donate or come grab something off the tree? And it's just organizing those people. I think you guys do a great job of that too.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you. So I went to, a couple of years back, I went to Haiti on a mission trip, and it really helped kind of shift my perspective on charity and giving back. And it made me, it really kind of turned a lot of things on its head for me when I came back here. It made me complain a lot less, and it made me want to do more. And I'm guessing that you, being a firefighter and seeing some of the things that you've seen, is that where some of that comes from, is the perspective that you've gained as a firefighter? Or is that something you've had prior to being a firefighter?
Oh, I think a lot of it comes from that. Listen, I'm like everybody else. I can complain about anything, about being not having money or somebody. It's all first world problems.
Oh,
like there
100%.
are some people out there that are really struggling. I've worked in town in the inner city for 15 years, at the busiest stations. And I mean, there are so many people that are unaware of even what happens in our own city, more so than what's going on in other countries, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some serious problems in Kansas City, Missouri, in the inner city, the violence and the poverty that's there. And so, I mean, I definitely think, you know, that's played a big part in it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that, you know, me and Jeff, we've talked about figuring out a way of trying to make more of an impact on Kansas City, specifically, you know, the parts of Kansas City, like you were saying, the inner cities that need the most help. You know, the charity I went to Haiti with, Brace for Impact, they do the same thing. They build housing for people in St. Louis, and they also they do work in Haiti as well. Mm-hmm. I think it would be awesome to do something that could make an impact on the inner city in Kansas City as well. But I figured that was probably where you were getting a little bit of that motivation, was basically things you're unfortunately having to see on a regular basis.
I think, yeah. I mean, definitely. I never grew up wanting to be a firefighter too, so that was never something in my blood. I mean, my dad was a volunteer firefighter several years ago, but I never considered it a career move. I've done things and seen things that I never thought I would or even be able to imagine seeing, you know, and I think that's definitely played a part in it.
I want to transition to our fitness community. The people that are listening that love, you know, they love fitness, and that's what, you know, brought them here. And I just want to talk about your ability to truly grow that gym in such a short amount of time, to the point where you got to be busting at the seams, man. Like, what is next for Aaronfit? Because that is not the biggest, you know, space, and you guys max out those classes. And I've seen, you know, videos, and it's just like, man, you guys are using every functional spot, the parking lot, you roll up that garage door. And I'm saying, is there a new space in mind? Or are you guys thinking, you know, hey, maybe I open up a second location? What's next for Aaronfit? I'm forcing you to think big and be a risk taker.
No, I've had this conversation with several people. You know, the thing about Aaronfit, or the thing about my gym, I can't even call it Aaronfit without smiling, like ridiculous name. But, I love one-on-one personal training or partner training. I love the setting. I love being there, giving my attention to somebody. That training, I love that part of it.
Yeah, genuinely developing a relationship there. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily a class gym. I hold one class a day, and then on 2 days a week, on Wednesdays and Fridays, I have two classes, a morning and afternoon on those days. But so the majority of my training is one-on-one. The thing about personal training for any young trainer that's wanting to get in it, and you got to hustle if you want to make it, because your sessions are a set price. If you want to make more money, it's really about just training more sessions, you know. So somebody that says, man, you're packed up there, you must be killing it and doing all this. Well, I kill it because I work a lot, you know. I work the gym a lot. I'm training one-on-one, you know. That's why I said 1:15. I literally drove here so I could be here. But I start at 5 a.m. most mornings, and I'll train. If I don't have my kids, I'll train to 5 or 6 o'clock at night usually. otherwise at 4 o'clock. And I like to fill those hours. So I'm working all of those hours one-on-one. If I ever wanted to make more money, then I have to train more sessions. I also don't have any investors in my gym. So I built the gym. I paid for it. It's all paid for finally in a couple of years. So now I feel like my little gym is finally like making some money.
Yeah.
So the thought of expanding or finding a new location, especially with the prices of real estate right now, is just ridiculous. That's true. Scares the hell out of me.
You're finally in a spot where you can kind of sit back and enjoy the job.
Not to mention, I'm 43 years old. I can be retired from the fire department in 7 years. Whether or not I want to train more at that time or even do something else, that's always I'm always looking at that too. So the thing about expanding is just more money, more overhead. I do have I will say one good thing there are some good things that came out of Corona, I think. I'm still waiting for those things to happen.
We all are.
But there were a couple trainers that when Corona happened, I won't name the gym. I would love to, but I won't. They just fired their trainers. So these guys were just kicked out. They told them originally that they were going to be just laid off for a little bit and they'd have their benefits and all this. And then they called them a couple weeks later and just said, you're fired, And so one of them I knew because I had a membership there for a short while, for a couple of years, called me and said, do you have any open spots in your gym? And I said, well, you can come take a look. It's not really open spots, but I can work around. I can train somebody in a corner. I'd love to have somebody here. It's tough to find good trainers. And I knew a couple of them. So 3 of their trainers, now 4 of their trainers are up there training too. And that's kind of nice. They're all really good people. And so I have 4, I can't take any more probably trainers, but there's 4 or 5 of us up there that are training and
I think
that's good enough space, but
that story is the epitome of why you find success, is because, when somebody else kicked, people to the curb, you were there to say, hey man, I got a spot for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they can, they just kind of do their own, I don't call them Aaronfit trainers. I'm not watching over them. I mean,
they're using the facility, if you will, to run their training business out of.
Exactly. I just said, you start your own business, you start your own thing, you charge what you want to charge your sessions. I'm not going to keep track. I do not want to monitor your training.
Yeah.
Like you do that. I don't want to work 2 jobs. Exactly. I'm not your boss. You just will pay a rent or whatever. You will figure it out. I'll build you up till you get your clientele going here, and you just run your own business out however you want to run it, and just be a good person. That's it. Just
it's people are always looking for ways to be successful. I know, but I think that there's a lot to be said about how people react to adversity, and I think that's typically the downfall of most. Is they plan for success, they take steps on a day-to-day basis to be successful, and then when I think I've just met trainer after trainer, gym owner after gym owner. When stuff gets tough, they find themselves in this weird position where their reaction isn't obviously the reason why they got into it, or they feel maybe entitled, or they felt maybe like they got screwed or something along those lines. I want to talk about, because I feel like your success is probably more based on what you did to not quit when stuff got tough. And so I'd like to just ask maybe about a story where either Aaronfit or when you were personal training outside of Aaronfit and you were working within a gym, what was a time where most people would have quit and you simply didn't? And, here we are today where your gym's paid off and you're finally able to actually sit back and make a little bit of money on it. But it all started way back when you probably could have quit being a trainer and you decided not to. And I just want to know, there has to be some kind of adversity that you had to fight through that most people wouldn't be able to.
Oh, I mean, I have thoughts. I mean, I struggle. I feel guilty if someone comes in, trains 10 sessions or whatever, and I never hold anybody to a session count. They just, if you want to be here, I want you to be here, and we'll just handle it session to session or whatever.
No contracts, just a handshake.
Yep, no contracts.
Incredible.
I don't say you need 20 sessions at such and such dollars. I need it all up front. It's just whatever you want, whatever works for your budget. Not a lot of people can write a $1,500 check or $1,000 check for training sessions. I get it's a luxury, it's expensive. I think my price is good, mm-hmm. But when somebody leaves or they're unhappy, that's hard on me. Whether I did something wrong or they didn't have the motivation to help themselves, I can kick your ass a couple times in the gym. But if there's nothing going on,
it's super hard not to take it personal.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's tough. So there are times where I'm like, is this where my conscience gets to me a little bit, but I mean, that goes on all the time. Anytime, and people come and leave, and their intentions sometimes aren't the best, or they weren't as motivated once they get into it as they thought, and they leave, and maybe they're, whether they're angry or not angry, or not happy with what's happened. Sometimes I just struggle with that a little bit. Like, is this really worth my mental health to be worrying about what's going on with this person outside of the gym, or what their thoughts are? And I take things a little bit, probably a flaw of mine, as I told you downstairs, I take things personal, or I care what people think too much. And sometimes that gets to me. Another thing is just, I went through a tough time, and my marriage was tough. I'm divorced now, but my marriage was having a difficult time, and handling jobs and kids and everything like that. I thought, screw it, I don't need this, but
one more added stress on top of the innate stress from those other situations.
But ultimately, being in the gym and having those good client relationships helped me get through some tough times. Just like I always tell people, it's one half personal training, one half therapist. Yeah. And I think a lot of trainers feel that way. Some of my closest people, maybe not people I hang out with a lot outside the gym, but some of my close people are some of my clients, and they know me, and I know them, and their life.
That's man. You guys spend more time together than they do sometimes with their own families.
Right. Exactly. So, that keeps me in it too.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's exciting, man. And I'm very happy for you, because it's one of those things where a lot of people, here's the thing. There's a lot of people when they're younger and they're getting into the fitness industry, they feel like they need to scratch and claw and backstab to get ahead, just so they can get to a spot where they're making enough. And you just really have to have faith that, one person at a time, genuinely caring. You don't need to badmouth another trainer. You don't need to badmouth another gym. And it's just one of those things where I feel like you've been able to do all of this with being able to avoid you being at the center of any kind of, drama, if you will, of having to be negative to get ahead. You just are the example of, you don't have to charge a contract. You don't have to make people hate you. You can just simply care all the way, session after session.
To me, that's just not difficult, Yeah. I mean, it's just not that hard to be kind. And
it's it. People just convince themselves they have to do otherwise because they don't make any money that way. You know what I mean? If you've worked for a different, different gym that has a totally different, way of doing things, a big corporate
sales.
gym where it's hard sales,
Right.
and it feels like you're at a car dealership, the way they do things, you in your head are like, people, they can convince you if you're like a young salesperson or a young trainer, like, we have to do it this way or else we can't make money. It's not even like, these people need this, they need this accountability. We got to sell them 20 sessions at once, and they may try to make you feel good about it, and you're like, in my head, this just feels really wrong. I don't really like this.
Right. And honestly, I just don't even really pay attention. I just do things the way I want to do them, but I noticed a little bit when I had these other trainers come up early last summer after things opened back up, after I think I was shut down 9 or 10 or 11 weeks. I can't remember what it was. And I opened up the doors back, and these guys came in, and at that time, all the school gyms were shut down, and a lot of the bigger gyms were shut down, and kids weren't working out. So I started having free workouts for high school kids, high school athletes. That's what I said. Then I started having dance teams and cheerleaders come too. And
it was a party there, man.
Whoever wants to come, we had 50 kids from all,
I remember seeing the post, man. You were filling those classes up
all over, and it was just free for them to come and work out. And honestly, why I started it is because of my daughter. I have a 16-year-old, and she plays softball in high school, and I wanted her to be at the gym, and she thinks I'm an idiot or doesn't think I know what I'm talking about half the time anyway. But when her friends like to come and her friends like to be around, then I'm kind of cool. So I just really wanted her there. That's how it started. Then her friends started coming. Then it expanded to a few other boys that I was training at the time. And pretty soon we had 50 kids from all over. I mean, I had STA kids, a couple Rockers kids come a few times, Blue Springs kids.
And these kids aren't going to school at the time, right?
No, they weren't doing anything. I mean, no gyms, their schools weren't open, their school gyms weren't open, so that's kind of why I had it. It was just more conditioning than anything, keeping them in shape until things opened back up. They could go back to their teams.
So those 50 kids could have been,
right, doing something
terrible.
Right.
Instead you're having them obviously making a positive impact on them.
Right. So where I'm going, yes, okay. But where I was going with the story is, I had a trainer that had left the gym and had came up and started training with me, and I asked him to help me like manage these kids or watch the station, make sure they're doing it right. And he came up after a couple of, he's like, there's no money being made or anything. Why are you doing this? And I said, why wouldn't you do this? You know, this is a good opportunity. Okay. One, because I want to, because I think it's good for the kids. And two, it just, the people start talking.
Felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're going to go home and say, I went to this workout at this gym. Well, how much did it cost? It didn't cost me anything. Who does that? You know, well, we do that, you know, and that's how you build relationships. Now I have, you know, their parents start, we got to check this out where our kids are going to work out. I have made all of them sign waivers or take home waivers to sign with their parents. They just weren't coming and working out. But, you know, that just builds
it just
community.
shows you.
It just builds community. And I like that. And I like the thought of, you know, social media is so big right now. And all these kids know, these kids from others, it's completely wild. Like we know the Staley kids know the Liberty kids know the Park Hill kids because of the social media thing. They were all here working out together, and I thought that was great, you know, especially during this really shitty Corona time that these juniors and seniors are going through their high school years and not going to school.
So brutal.
I know. It's just
You're robbing them. I mean, it's robbing them of the greatest memories they could be
So
having,
it was really like the highlight of my summer were these workouts. I want to do it again this year, but I already feel like I limit my trainer time because of my classes a little bit, and I don't want to limit their time that we're training. So I haven't been able to put it together this year yet, but I'd still like to do something eventually. But
yeah, man, let's get something together.
Sometimes that people look at, you know, things like that, or people in business, they think that the money should come before they provide the value. And a lot of times it's just, you got to provide the value before the money comes. And that's that situation where it's like you were giving people a place to work out, you're creating good word of mouth, and then eventually their parents or, you know, other people in the community is going to sign up at your gym. You know, too many people are wanting, you know, they want the sale up front, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's, you know, I think that's a young trainer that you're talking about, I'm assuming. And have you turned him into a believer yet?
Oh, no. And I think he is, I mean, all those guys are good,
just a different line of thinking they came from, right?
Exactly. He was at this gym and they would never, I mean, he was in charge of their performance side of it. And I mean, he's just like, it was just so new to me to think that way on how we were supposed to sell and think at a bigger gym or whatever.
If I know this one correctly, I believe I went there just to visit, just to see what it was all about, you know, just literally take a tour. I wanted to know, you know, kind of how this gym looked and whatnot. And the owner pulled me aside. I don't believe this is the owner anymore. I think it's changed hands a couple of times. I think it's a lot better now, but funny story, that same gym brought me into the office and they were like, so I heard you own Sylvan Superstore. And I was like, yeah, I'm co-owner with my buddy Kyle, you know, and they're like, oh, okay, well, how much you want to sell supplements for? Like we're going to sell your supplements in our gym. And I was like, that's not why I came here, man. I just genuinely wanted to see the gym. And he's like, oh man, send me over a price list. You know, I was like, no, it's all good, man. I'd rather you just send them into the store, you know? You're not really set up to sell, you know, supplements to gyms if it's cool, you know? And he was just like, oh, come on, man, you came here for a reason. I'm like, yeah. I just wanted to see the gym, but now I know it was a terrible idea, you know?
I wanted to bench press.
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't believe I was like, I just kind of want to walk backwards out of this room now.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Like I said, I won't say any names.
Yeah, no need. But
that
you know
just goes back to intention, man. It's like, you know, it's everyone thinks that, you know, there's something.
There has to be an end goal.
There has to be an end goal, and it's like, nah, man. Like I'm here to check out your gym because I'm interested.
Right.
I'm with you, man. Yeah. We're at about an hour right now. I want to take the time to give you any kind of opportunity to plug whatever it is you got coming up at Aaronfit, what you got coming up as an individual, anything you'd like to say, you know, even if it's hi, Sydney. You know what I mean?
Well, hi, Sydney. Hopefully she wouldn't tune into the. I was on a podcast today.
Maybe if it was on TikTok.
What's it about? Oh, it's called Protein Bros. No thanks.
Tell her Kylie Jenner is also a guest member on this. And maybe we might get
I don't
her.
really have much. I guess be on the lookout. I'm going to have my 3rd annual firefighter workout sometime in late September. I like to get it as close to October 12th as I can. So that'll be that's
huge.
That's my favorite day of the gym. The biggest day. I always tell it's the biggest day of the gym for me. So I'll be looking for people to come participate, or if you'd like to.
It's a great time, guys. I was there again last year for it. It's a phenomenal time.
It really was. And last year, I'd like to think I'm a good planner, but last year I really didn't know if it was going to happen because of Corona, and so I kind of threw it together again. It was awesome. People step up. I mean, it is crazy. I just have a really good community of people that come to the gym, and they know good people that are willing to help out. So I'm going to do that again sometime. Otherwise, I really don't. Anyone can come take a class for free if they want it. Check it out.
I highly recommend everybody check out Aaronfit. Take a free class. There's really, really passionate people that work there. Some of our other friends, I know Bailey's a trainer there now, or an instructor, if you will. Nick, is he still up there too? Is he
Nick's
training?
there, yep.
Nice, man. So
real quick, what high school did you go to in Kansas City?
I'm actually from Omaha originally.
Are you? That's why you're a Nebraska fan, huh?
That's right, yes. I'm a Husker fan, I know. It's kind of...
So how long...
When I was in high school, it was the Alabama of college football.
No doubt, man.
And now it's the...
It's a random school.
Yeah,
So,
it's just Nebraska. They're like, yeah, Nebraska, it's up there.
So you got recruited out of Omaha to play at Northwest Missouri State?
Yep.
So, and then you, from Northwest Missouri State, moved to Kansas City, and you've lived here ever since?
Yes, yep. I got a teaching job in Liberty, and I moved here. And
rest is history.
My wife at the time was from Kansas City.
So we have a question we ask every single guest.
This is important.
This is a very important question. The most important question, being a Kansas City resident. What is your favorite barbecue in Kansas City?
Oh, God.
Gun to your head, you got to pick one, dude.
This is a big deal.
I know you take your cheat meal serious.
I do. You know, I'm not going to say it. I really cheat with the same thing all the time.
So say it. It's all good.
No, it's not barbecue. That's the thing. You're
a sushi guy.
Lover of no.
Oh,
burger and fries. That's my guess.
I mean, I love
some
fries.
sushi.
I tell you what. Can I give a plug here?
Please, God.
Longboards is like, that's
dude.
my spot.
Oh,
I love the
Longboards is
619 longboards. I cheated with it.
That's like the spicy one, right?
Yeah. It's like this big.
When he says this big, I think that's like 2 feet, by the way.
That's what I had. My last show, I started having 2 of them at a setting, and then I had one every week. I didn't feel like anything else, but that's...
Dude, I'm starving now just thinking about it.
Barbecue, though, I mean, I like... Q39.
Yeah, gosh, Jeff he's on a winning rampage with Q39.
I like Q39. I do. You know, to me, there's 2 different kind of barbecues in Kansas City.
Yeah.
You can have fancy barbecues that you have to make a reservation for.
Q39.
Q39.
Jack Stack.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma Joe's not, but you wait in an hour-long line. But then you go down in the inner city and you hit LC's, if you've ever been to LC's.
Dude, LC's is phenomenal.
Or even Gates or the original Arthur Bryant's down there. It's just a different kind of barbecue.
Yeah.
Or Big T's, if you've ever been. I mean, there's a bunch of them that you would never even know if you didn't travel to that part of town. But
you had Slaps yet?
I have had Slaps. Yes.
Slaps is good.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
Is that your number?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, now I'm just in the mood for longboards, but
Slaps and Q39, I think you're onto something. You can't really compare the two. You know what I'm saying? No. Like, if you're waiting in line and you get a red tray, it's a totally different experience than going to sit down at Q39. Q39 is
even
great,
getting a tray, you go to Gates or Arthur Bryant's, they just scream at you.
I know, but it's so good. You know,
yeah.
I mean, actually, it does depend on which. Arthur Bryant's, I think, is always pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Gates, it varies from location.
What I love about Gates is that I can get it delivered at 1 a.m.
Oh, is that right?
That's 100% real.
It's not that far down the road here.
It's not.
Brooklyn.
And so,
my thing with
there's
Gates
been some times where you're like, man, I'm in the mood for barbecue, but it's 1 a.m. and it's like, count on Gates.
The first time, so when I first moved to Kansas City, I was with one of my buddies, and he's like, man, we got to go to Gates. I'll take you to Gates. And we went there, and I remember I walked in, and my buddy's like, this chick's going to yell at you, so you better hurry up with your order. And I remember, I don't even remember which one it was. We walked in, and she was like, what do you want? And I was like, and she's like, come on. And I was like, dang, okay, this is a little bit different than any other place that I'd been to. And but
you
my thing,
what do you want? In like a nice way. It was like, what do you want? It was like you're really, really inconveniencing.
No, dude, it was what you want. And I was like, I don't know. Give me 1 second. She's like, hurry up.
I definitely got yelled at.
But my thing with Gates is that the barbecue sauce is not super like sweet. It's not a sweet barbecue sauce. It's more like a ketchup type barbecue
Gates
sauce.
Is a little different. Arthur Bryant's is really different. If you never, I mean, that's most Kansas or a lot of people who visit here that I found out just don't like Arthur Bryant's because of their sauce. But
I think it's pretty good.
I mean, I like it.
I can appreciate it.
Yeah, it's different.
It's been so long since I've had Arthur Bryant's, I can't really give a good opinion on it. But Slaps
is great. Dude.
Slaps is good.
Yeah,
I got one last good one. So we got on your favorite cheat. That's going to be longboards, right?
I mean,
Consistently,
yes. I do love burger and fries. I love pizza. I mean,
But now we get one dessert, and you only get one. And you're going out in Kansas City. You can even get it from a grocery store if you want. But what's your dessert?
J. Alexander's
carrot cake.
Oh.
24 karat cake.
That's it. I mean, there's not, in my opinion, there's nothing else that compares.
I want to say
that was a pretty quick answer.
Hey, I finished his thought because I'm like, I'm fat as hell, and I knew exactly what he was talking about.
It's just so good.
Dude, I believe it's 2,000 calories.
I'm pretty sure Freddie,
I believe it's a genuine 2,000 calories.
Our district manager, Freddie, I think he would say the exact same thing.
I mean, it's pretty well known. I think.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I had heard about it before. I mean, obviously, it's not super convenient living up north to go to J. Alexander's. There's only one location. It's on Metcalf down there.
Over in OP.
And I heard about it. I kept hearing about it. I was like, whatever, man. Let's go down here and have it. And I had it, and I'm like,
okay.
Fuck. Right.
You're like, God, I wish I didn't know this existed.
This is so good.
You had those crumble cookies yet in Overland Park?
I have not.
Sweet baby Jesus. Those are great.
I need to go down there. My daughter played in a softball tournament down there off 135th Street. In between games, I ran over to get Will a haircut, and it was right next to Crumble Cookie. But when I pulled up, I was like, why are all these people waiting outside of Sports Clips? And then I was like, shit, it's 2 blocks long for the Crumble Cookie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. So I do need to get out there. I do love a cookie. I'm
not
I'm not an ice cream fan or anything like that. I like cookies and cake.
Sacrilegious that you don't like ice cream.
I'm the same. I would rather have a cookie or cake than ice cream.
You guys are crazy. Ice cream's up there for me.
What's the bet?
Cookies are number one for me.
Do you ride the golf cart down to Betty Ray's?
I certainly have. I do.
They have the
Betty Ray's is really
barbecue,
close.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have Joe's burn-end ice cream.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't have it, but I will say that they have a blueberry pancake ice cream there.
All right.
Real chunks of pancake and the ice cream. It's God's gift. It's so good. It's so good. They also have another one called, I think, like Serial Killer or something like that. And it's for, they have like Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms, marshmallows in the ice cream.
Right.
And it's silly.
You're
so good.
Making me hungry.
They make those waffle cones in house too. If you're a cone guy, I'm a huge ice cream cone guy. I'd rather have that.
Cone guy.
Always. I went to Andy's Frozen Custard in like the last couple weeks, and everybody was getting like these jackhammer, like ridiculous, like $12 ice cream treats. And I was like, vanilla on a cone, please. They're like, are you serious, sir? Like, is that for you? Yeah. And I was like, oh, what are you trying to say, man? I was like, I know. I just want the ice cream cone, though, I promise.
Andy's is frozen custard. It was still probably like 13,000 calories or something ridiculous.
It's fat-free. I made that up. It's 100% terrible for
I was
you.
about to say, it's actually the exact opposite of fat.
It's actually all fat now that I think about it. But, dude, we appreciate you so much for being on.
Thank you for coming on, man.
If you guys that are listening right now, if you know somebody in the Kansas City, fitness community, someone that you feel like is just absolutely living example of what the community needs, we would love to sit down and talk to them. Please let us know. Hit us up on our social medias, Protein Bros Podcast on Instagram. You can email us at proteinbros@gmail.com. And then, Aaron, what is yours? Go ahead and give us your plugs as well.
You can find me at my website, aaronfit.com, or you can go to my Instagram page, AaronFitKC, I believe.
That's correct.
That's about it. I don't have a Facebook page currently.
Sounds good, man. So, appreciate you. That's what matters. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks for listening. And if you guys got some value out of today, make sure to please share it up with a friend. That is how we get found.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.